Welcome to the High Ticket Success Podcast, where premium coaches, consultants, and advisors come for bold strategies, big breakthroughs, and real results. I'm your host, Dave Dubeau. Hey folks, welcome back. Today, I've got a special guest, a fellow Canadian and an exceptional coach, Marc Mawhinney, who is zooming in from the beautiful province of New Brunswick, which is on the east coast of Canada. And Marc has been in the coaching world for quite some time, and he's doing some very, very clever things. I'm not going to spill the beans because we'll talk about that with Marc, but I just love, poking around on his website, looking at the different things that he offers. Is very, very smart about leveraging his list and just really helping other coaches as well. He's also a fellow podcast host. So, Marc, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for the invite.
My pleasure. So give us a little 30,000-foot perspective of what you do in the coaching world, please.
So since 2014, I've helped fellow coaches grow their businesses, specifically without paid ads, although some of my clients choose to do that to throw fuel on the fire. So that's the main focus of my business. But as you alluded to, I also do a lot of joint venture partnerships with the people who have something for coaches that benefits them. And I have a couple different ways of doing that as well. So I've been, blessed to partner with hundreds of really interesting people who I'd consider friends. And yeah, it's been quite a ride here the last 11 and a half years.
That is wonderful. So without giving away the farm, Marc, do you mind kind of big picture sharing with us what your strategy is for helping coaches to grow their coaching businesses without wasting money on ads?
Yeah, so my whole philosophy, and this has stayed consistent the whole time I've been in this world, is if coaches can answer three questions, then they're going to be successful. And that sounds very common sense when you hear it. Most people are like, well, yeah, of course. But in my experience, most coaches don't have all three of them answered. Maybe they have one, maybe two, 2.5, but very rarely do they nail all three. And those questions are, who do you help? Mm-hmm. How do you help them? What's your offers? And finally, where do you find them? Now, that's going to apply for any entrepreneur, right? If you're widget store, you have an online widget store, it works for that.
Yeah, you've got a target market, you've got your product or service, and then it's like, how the heck do you find those target market people?
And unfortunately for coaches, they often, let's say they have the first question answer, okay, I want to help new mothers of newborn babies return to their pre-baby weight within 6 months or something. Okay, that's great. But they often get tripped up where they don't have a very clear offer on how they're doing that. So it's like having a beautiful store on Main Street. It's going to say Main Street USA. We'll say Main Street Canada here today.
Right. Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
you got the best location in the world, really cool signage. The floors are shining. There's nice music playing. But if there's no products on the shelves, you're obviously not going to make sales because there's nothing for people to buy. And I do find that's an issue for a lot of coaches. Or number three can be a big issue where they've got okay, I want to help these people. This is my offer. I feel good about it, but they're not choosing where to reach them. And I call it the three pillars, basically a pillar, instead of trying to do 87 different things and then you don't have enough time, you're focusing on three main areas. So my three pillars are podcasting, that's my show, Natural Born Coaches, and also going out on shows like we're doing right now. So it's podcasting. Community, I have a Facebook group called the Coaching Jungle. We've got almost 30,000 coaches in there. .coachingjungle.com if anyone wants to check it out. So there's community. And then the third pillar would be email marketing, and specifically daily emails I've been doing for, 3,500 straight days last I checked. Wow. Your three pillars might be different. You might think, well, I like podcasting and I got the community thing, but I hate emails or something. Well,
especially every day.
Yeah, you can swap in YouTube or whatever. It doesn't mean that I'm not doing other things. Yes, I'm on LinkedIn. I post daily and I do other stuff, but it means that 90% of what I'm getting is coming through one of those three channels. And that way I'm able to focus on them. You're just never able to do all these potential things. Like, do you remember about 4 or 5 years ago when Clubhouse was the rage? Everyone was talking.
Yes, everybody was on. It was going to be the next big
I had
thing.
so much peer pressure. Everyone was talking, oh, you got to be on Clubhouse. I was talking to one guy. He's like, oh, I love it. I got a client on there and I've only been on for 3 months. And I said, well, how long did you spend on there? Well, I'm there about 8 hours a day. So I'm doing the math. 8 hours times blah, blah, blah. It was not a good ROI. Or sometimes they say, oh, well, Elon Musk popped into a Clubhouse and the, fanboys for that. And I'm just like, so I wasn't feeling it. And I resisted it. I wasn't going to do it. Finally, I caved and I said because this was when, remember, you had to get an invite from a current Clubhouse.
Yeah.
And he said, can you at least try this? So just to placate him, I said, yes, I'll try it. I don't think it's going to be for me. And I knew within 2 minutes that it wasn't for me. But what would most people do? Well, I got to be doing Clubhouse, or now I got to be doing TikTok.
I got to be doing everything, right?
Threads. 2 summers ago was Threads. Everyone was talking about it's so great.
Yeah, and now one of the big ones is school. Like everybody seems to have a school community, and that's
it's pushing that exhausting. Yeah, so that's the thing with the online space. You got all these voices telling you have to do something. You don't have to do everything. It's impossible to do that. So yeah, that's my philosophy in a nutshell.
Nice. All right. So you pick a few core pillars that you focus on. In your case, it's having your own podcast. I think you had over 900 episodes. So considering the average podcast makes it to 7 episodes and fizzles out, you're doing pretty good there, buddy. The other avenue is podcasting, but being a guest on other people's shows, just like you're doing right here, right now. The other one was you got a Facebook community with 30,000 members, did you say?
Yeah, we're like 28,000 and change.
Okay.
Yeah, at the moment.
I'll round up. We'll give it 30, coming up on 30 pretty quick. And then daily emails. So you got like those 3 main pillars that you focus on. You do sprinkle in some, probably repurpose some of that stuff for some other channels, but those are you got to get them done.
There's two main criteria when you're choosing your pillars or your channels. First, you have to enjoy what you're doing, because if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to do it consistently. Right. Yeah. So the example I always give is the favorite thing in the world. Let's say I absolutely love waking up in the morning, sticking my head out the window and yelling to passersby, hire me, hire me. That could be my favorite thing in the world, gives me butterflies, go, go, go. That's probably not,
that might get the cops called on you in Moncton.
The loony bin. So you have to enjoy it and it has to work. And that example there, I would enjoy it if I did, but it wouldn't work. So, but that being said, you don't try something for a week or 2 and then decide, oh, it's not working, and then move on to something else. So a good example, years back, I had do you remember, Alexa had their flash briefings. They're short little things you could play on Alexa, like 30 seconds to a minute. Yeah. So I did a flash briefing daily for a year, and it was called the Marc Mawhinney Minute because they were 1 minute each. And I just didn't enjoy it. I wasn't seeing an ROI, but I gave it a full 365 days. I didn't quit after 10 days, right?
I tried that with YouTube. Everybody's saying YouTube, you got to have your YouTube channel, which I do. But I created a unique YouTube thing and did the daily, same thing, daily videos, 5 days a week at least. So it was like 20 a month. Go in every month to a video guide, come up with all the content, film it all, spend 5 or 6 hours. Again, I did that for a full year to give it a good college try. Saw very, very little lift on that. I was probably doing something wrong. But anyhow, I did not enjoy it. I did not like that at all. But you're right. You got to at least give it a good college try and figure out, A, does it work? And B, do I like it? And if it's neither one of those, then pull the plug immediately.
There's nothing wrong with pulling the plug. And I feel like a lot of, not just coaches, entrepreneurs, they feel pot committed. Like if they're playing poker and they've pushed a lot of chips into the middle, and then all of a sudden they look and the cards didn't come out that they wanted on the table. They know there's a good chance that they're going to lose, but they feel like they have to keep putting more and more chips in, so to speak. And that's not a good philosophy either. So give it enough time. So for example, when I started daily emails, that was April of 2016. For the 2 years before that, I did email like most other people, sporadic, once a week, maybe every 2 weeks, sometimes twice a week. And they were boring as hell. They would be a great solution if you're having trouble sleeping because the filter on, heaven forbid you lose a email subscriber. So I was ready to give up April of 2016 and focus on other stuff that was working. And I had a guest on my podcast what is still, but he was a big daily email guy. And he said, we were chatting afterwards and I was complaining, griping. He said, why don't you give daily emails a try, Mark? Give it a try for a month. And I thought, yeah, he has a good point. That's not going to cost me anything, some time to write emails. But the very important thing that I told myself is I'm not going to be worried, am I going to make $1 million at the end of 30 days? I'm just going to put them out there, do my best. And that's that. And I also took the filter off and had fun writing them and just said, I'm going to write how I talk and, not dropping F-bombs, but I have a weird sense of humor. And sometimes, might be, it's funny. I've had people unsubscribe because I've said crap or bull crap or something. There's some weird people out there. One of the emails was talking about there's not one way to build a coaching business. So the subject line was more than one way to skin a cat. Apparently she thought I was referring to literally skinning a cat. And
English was not her first language or whatever.
She was quite offended. So anyways, I gave email a try. I gave it the 30 days and I didn't make $1 million from email. But what started happening was I started to get replies from people, which never happened before that. And I started to make some sales, started to come in, and I thought there could be something to it. And that was April 12th of 2016. I haven't missed a day since, knock on wood, with that. But you have to give it enough time to breathe.
Most definitely. So the question everybody's thinking is, what the hell do you talk about every single day for 200 days in a row?
A very important thing, which this is what you did with your YouTube videos, is I batch created it. I didn't sit down every morning with a blank screen and think, oh, geez, what am I going to talk about? I'll talk about my bagel that I'm eating this morning. So I batch create. And even now I usually have 2-3 weeks, sometimes a month worth of emails that are scheduled. What do I talk about? I mean, once you start doing this, you'd be surprised with doing it a lot. Ideas are coming out of left field. You have more ideas than you can ever use. But I tell stories from my life, tie it into like a business aha type lesson, something I want people to know. Stories from my clients with keeping confidentiality in mind. Something I read, and because I'm an avid reader, so I'm always highlighting stuff and marking up books. So it could be something I read. Often I'm supposed to have my business brain turned off, enjoy a movie or something on Netflix, and then I'm like, oh man, this is a great lesson. So this stuff comes all over the place from different areas, but the key is to jot it down as soon as the ideas hit, just so it doesn't float off into space. And then what you're going to find, like I said, once you build your content creation muscle, it gets easier and you're going to get more and more ideas with it. And
I'm sure it kicks in your creativity muscle too. But now that you're always coming up with new content ideas, you're much more open to new ideas, right?
I'll show you one of my inspirations or idols. So I don't know if you guys can see it. This is Stan Lee from Marc.
Yeah.
I've got 10 books for Stan Lee. The guy was a content creation machine. So back in the 60s, he, really kicked off Marvel and its comic boom. He created all these classic characters like Iron Man, the Hulk, Fantastic Four, everything else. And he was just cranking out idea. And he had great help from artists too, of course. But I have that little statue there as a reminder. If Stan Lee could write 15 comic books in a day, storylines, I can handle an email.
Yeah. There you go. It's all in perspective, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So Marc, I just want to make sure I'm getting all of this because you've dropped some really good nuggets here. So correct me when I screw up. So you start off with your 3 pillars, right? So you've got your target avatar of the people that you want as your clients, the people you want to serve. That's number 1. Number 2 is what the offer is that you're going to sell to those people, how you're going to serve them, and having one specific thing instead of just like a hodgepodge of different things. And then the third thing is how are you going to get the word out, find those kind of people, get in front of those kind of people. And out of that, you've got 3 that are your favorites: podcasting, your Facebook group, and daily emails. Have I missed anything there?
So it's the 3 questions that you're answering. The 3 pillars are part of the third question. So that's like in there. What I could do, if you like, I have a newsletter that I wrote around this and expanding on these ideas. Let me know if you want a copy to get to people, or we put it on
Yeah, love it. Yeah.
the show notes page. Actually, anyone, if someone joins my email list at the moment, that's the freebie that's
Okay.
there. So we could give that. But if for some reason I change the opt-in, someone's listening to 6 months, 6 years down the road, I could get you the PDF so you have it.
That would be good. And in the meantime, how do people opt in to get that?
Yeah, if you go to naturalborncoaches.com, you could get it right there. The opt-in will pop up, and then you can see the emails, kind of how I write them and stuff. Spoiler alert, I email daily, as we said here. So
So
I
it could
don't
be
shy away from that. I'm very clear on the first message I send with autoresponder when someone opts in that, hey, this is a daily email, FYI. But that being said, what the question I always ask myself is, even if it's only taking the person 30 seconds, 2 minutes to scan through and read it, is this worth their time? So I'm not writing 1,000 words. I'm trying to give them something I think they should know, something that can help them, something that I learned, like I said, an aha or something. And then every day I'm making an invitation offer to take the next step, but it's not a heavy arm
it's not
twist.
pushy.
It's not all, how some people sound like the Home Shopping Network, or it's like,
Yeah.
who was it, Billy Mays on those infomercials?
And then you get this.
Yeah,
Then you
email
get that.
marketers, they got the false scarcity, they've got the caps locks, all the asterisks. That's not my style. We're Canadians, so we're a little bit more laid back that way, but I do make an invitation, so I might give that less I want them to know, and I might say, oh, by the way, I go over this in greater detail in module 2 of my XYZ program. Here's a link with details, something like that.
Smart. So speaking of that, who is your ideal target client or student or avatar?
So I have a important criteria, and we don't have a lot of time for me to go into how I came up with it, but Michael Port, who wrote the book, Book Yourself Solid, has a red velvet rope policy where he says you treat your business is like the hot new club restaurant in town where not just anyone could stroll in off the street. You got the bouncer there with the clipboard. Are they on there or not? So I have certain criteria, like one, they have to be an action taker, because I don't want someone that's laying on the couch all day watching Netflix or not doing what we talk about. That's not going to work. They have to be a big thinker. If someone wants to make an extra $500 pocket change, all the power to them, but that doesn't really excite me, right? Like, I want to work with people with big ideas. And then there's other things. They have to respect my boundaries. I once worked with a What About Bob client. If anyone knows the Bill Murray, Richard Dreyfuss movie from back in the day, he would message me, and if I didn't get back to him within 2 minutes, he would just be blowing up my inbox or whatever.
Wow.
Like, no, that's not going to work. And, pay me what I'm worth and on time and stuff like that. So I always, when I'm looking for that ideal client, that's a criteria that I judge him against.
Okay, cool. So that's who you're after. And then how do you typically serve your clients? Like is it individual coaching? Is it group coaching? Is it just home study programs?
I've done it all over the years, but this year I've started to transition more to the one-to-many model, because you're in the real estate world, and you've seen that was my past life in real estate. It instilled a lot of good habits, but it instilled the bad habit of workaholism, where I just feel like I could easily work 24/7 and justify it in my head. So I am transitioning more. That Natural Born Coach program is more of a one-to-many, but that's a combination of resources and things that they work on their own, but then they also have access to me with regular support calls that I'm there to help them through it. And then I have a mastermind as well, and the mastermind's a little bit different with it. Anyone who's been in a mastermind knows how powerful they can be, and I have a really good people in that mastermind.
Awesome. Marc, if people want to connect with you and find out more and get a face full of Marc Mawhinney, what's the best way for them to do that and to get into your world?
Yes, naturalborncoaches.com, not Natural Born Killers. Great movie, though.
Yeah.
And then mention the Coaching Jungle Facebook group. We always want good people in there, and you can find it at thecoachingjungle.com. That's a free Facebook group. Lots of great folks in there, conversations, thecoachingjungle.com.
And you've got a podcast as well. What's the name of your
Down
podcast?
Coaches. Yeah.
Beautiful. Mark, it's been a pleasure getting to know you a little bit. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, everybody, take care, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks for listening to the High Ticket Success Podcast. Want to be featured? Share your story and inspire other premium coaches, consultants, and advisors? Apply now at highticketsuccesspodcast.com/guest.